Bow your heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for all the wonderful things that you have given to us, dear Lord. Dear Lord, we pray that you lead, guide, and direct us throughout this meeting. Dear Lord, help each one of us to be kind. We ask this in Jesus Christ's heavenly name. Amen. Amen. Call this meeting to order for the Board of Trustees of the Talihina Public Works Authority. Item number 2, approve or reject the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the meeting held October 13th, 2014. Did everyone get those minutes? Okay.
I make a motion to.
We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie?
Yes.
Donna? Wanda?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
And Jackie?
Yes. Item number 3, approve or reject the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the meeting held November 10th, 2014.
I don't think she had that one.
I know.
I'm looking, I don't see that one.
I have a meeting on November 24th.
And November 24th.
Okay, we'll have no action on item 3. We're liking those minutes still. Item number 4, approve or reject the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the special meeting held November 24th, 2014.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie?
Yes.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes. Item number 5, approve or reject the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the meeting held December 10th, 2014.
Very nice minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion.
Second.
A second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie?
Yes.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes. Yes, they're very nice minutes.
I don't know.
Item number 6, approve or reject public works purchase orders.
I make a motion.
We have a motion to approve the purchase orders.
Is Keith here?
Yes.
Hey, Keith. I was looking at one of the purchase orders for the 10-inch rings. Was that the second repair, or was that stuff coming? Okay, the second one. Okay. I didn't know where that was coming from, and of course we got that on the repair on a separate item, so they kind of tie together a little bit. And I need to ask you something.
A second.
Donnie?
Yes.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes. Public forum for public works. Anyone here for the public forum for public works? Okay. Item number 8, attorney's report.
I don't have anything for public works.
Thank you. Item number 9, financial report. We don't have a financial report. Mary's been wearing several different hats, but she'll be getting that to us in the near future. But does anyone have any questions in particular to ask right now? Nope. Okay. Item number 10, discussion action regarding the master meter of Latimer County Rural Water District number 3. We'll place this back on the agenda from the last month if everyone remembers. Donnie, did you do any more research on that? Or are you still?
Well, we talked about it when we did our final out there the other day, and you know, I understand y'all's concerns on the difference in the master meter and the meter down at your deal. Until we redo the contract, I think it's important that we go ahead and put in the master meter at the plant, but go off of their numbers for the billing.
I see what you're saying, but I think it's going to be a conflict because you're going to have 2 different meters.
Well, I know there's 2 different meters, but
replace the one in the building where it's at now, just replace it. We're only going to have 1 meter. Just means Philip or whoever's working is going to have to go down there and take those readings.
well, it's not. No, you won't have to do that. But the problem is we don't know if we're losing any water between the plant and that building. So you can actually be losing water and don't know if you're losing water or not because it's unmetered water going through the line.
You could have the same instance that y'all had when the line broke between here and the town.
How much distance are we talking there? Fourth of a mile? Maybe?
Quarter, isn't it? Quarter to a third, maybe.
2,000 feet or so.
I think we'd have a bigger situation with 2 meters reading different numbers, and we would have the possibility of that line. How new is that line that we're talking about? That's a,
I think it was originally put in when y'all put the Bengal line in, is what I was told by Keith.
so do you know how long that might have been?
Keith on that.
91.
91. So it's not ancient, it's old, but not ancient.
Yeah.
I'm still back to the
22
point, are we
years.
changing this because of convenience or necessity? I don't
Well-
want to change it for our convenience, because, you know.
Well, it's
we can
it's
go
both,
down and read
actually.
that meter.
I mean, it's up to y'all. It's part of the contingency, is it not, Bill?
Well, if they put them, we're not being charged for putting.
Yeah, it's not costing us anything to put the meter
No
in.
matter where we place the meter.
And so,
Well,
until,
if they put it down at the building, you won't get a new meter. They'll just change the head on it.
I thought the last time we talked, we could replace the meter there and just put a new meter in that building. That's what we
But
talked about the
All of
last
our
week.
other rural meters are close to our plant, correct?
Yes.
So why would we break protocol?
well, because we have a contract basically with Bidgall for that point where their building is. Now, to go back to the other point, we're breaking their contract. But we can go ahead and put that meter in and identify if we think, we charge them off their old meter that they normally have. And if there's a difference, we need to identify what the difference is. But it gives us an idea if we're losing water in between. It gives us an idea if their meter is right or wrong. But it gives us a backup of what it's doing, and it's not costing us anything.
But if we change it there in their building, we'll only have one meter.
No, well, yeah, but,
Because we won't be putting one at the plant.
right.
Placing one.
But we still don't have any way to monitor the line.
Philip,
I'm gonna put it there at the plant.
tell me about this line that's from the plant to the Bengal rural water building.
It's just a line that runs from the plant.
It's not very long, it's not.
No, it's not.
So if you
General.
had a leak on that line, how would you know it?
We know it by our meter reading, our master meter, master meter
With the
at
meters
plant.
we have now, how
Yes,
will we
at the
know?
master meter at the plant. That's why I get these meter readings every day. Because if I see a spike in it, we can't explain it anywhere by the usage, then we know there's probably a leak between the water plant, that meter, and Bengal's pump house. Or between the water meter at the plant and Whitesboro's pump house.
So you can, so you already monitor that by the
Yes.
master meter?
Well,
you
that-
have?
We've
that's
been doing
not-
it for years.
That's not actually, what he's saying is, he knows there's a leak somewhere. He
But
doesn't
it
know.
can only be on those 2 lines.
No, it can be on any line coming out of that
Okay,
plant.
he only gave me 2 lines. He
Well,
gave me Bengal and
That's
Whitesboro.
because Albion's is right there in the yard. Now, there could be a leak on that real short line between our water tank or our clear well and their pump house.
Okay,
But if once it reaches their pump house, that's where their meter is, and you read that meter, and if it spikes, then you know there's a leak past their pump house.
gotcha. Bud, you and Charlotte, what would you like for us to do? What would be the best thing for you to do? For us to do for you? What are we gonna do to help you out? Or does it matter?
We like it where it's at, because we don't have to maintain line, and especially lines we don't have stuff to fix anyway, because it's a different size.
What line do you not have to maintain?
From our pump station to y'all's treatment plant.
Are you maintaining that line now? Who's maintaining that line now?
City.
So why would that change if we put the meter at the plant?
That's when it hits our meters, we're responsible for their own.
So that's gonna be their meter that you're putting there at the plant? That you're talking about the new meter?
It's according to what the council wants to do.
But that's what we're
If you
projecting.
put two meters in, their master meter can still be the meter that's at the pump house.
That's right.
That can still be the demarcation point. The only thing we would use the other
I'm still
meter.
concerned about having 2 different readings.
If there's a leak between their tower and the pump house, and their pump house, we would see it by their master meter in the pump house, because that would cause them, their tower to call, and that would cause their pump to have to kick on to refill that tower more often.
Right. So you're saying that if we placed the meter at the plant, and we still had the meter at the building, they would not have to maintain that line from the building to the to the pump house.
That
Right.
reverts back to our responsibility in case
Yes,
that's corporate.
that just gives us an extra reading to monitor if there's any leakages going on, and then,
I'm for that, but I
So
think we
it's
ought
not
to bill
gonna
off.
be
At no
any
cost.
burden. It's not gonna put any more burden on.
no.
Are you okay with that?
I would agree to maintain that quarter of a mile line, but I think we ought to bill off of our new meter.
Yes.
Well,
CJ, I hadn't forgotten. You had,
The
you had
meter was
something,
replaced about 4 years ago, wasn't
They
it?
done work on it.
you had something, CJ? What was that?
Is that gonna cost us anything to put it on meter?
No.
no.
No, no, it's just so it's electronic
Okay.
so we can read it.
As long as we're all in agreement, I'm fine with placing that at the plant. So, Donnie, are you wanna make, I'm not sure what this under means.
Word the motion.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I gotta figure out how to word it.
Okay.
Because I'm in favor of just putting it at the, for right now, we can change it at a later date. But for right now, just to go ahead and place the meter at the plant and monitor their usage at their existing meter.
And that's what we talked about, and they're still not gonna have to maintain that line.
That's right, they want to maintain that top line, because under our contract with them, it is from that pump house on.
Donna, if you'll just make sure
Yeah.
that it's in the minutes that we will maintain that line.
Mhm.
Okay, we have a
And they will be
motion.
billed off of their existing meter and their
The
pump
city
house.
will maintain the,
I'm not gonna go that far until we see how this is gonna work.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we can change it later, but I mean,
Yes,
for
for
right
now,
now,
yes.
we need to say, we're gonna
Yes.
bill them off of their meter that they're existing,
Yes.
currently
Unless
being
it
billed
comes
from.
back.
But now, if there is a big discrepancy, I want to
Yes.
revisit
We have to
this.
sit down and evaluate what's
Gotcha.
going on.
Okay, we have a motion.
Hopefully, there's not any discrepancy, you know.
We have a motion and a second by Gina. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
Jackie.
Yes. All right, item number 11, discussion action regarding a sewer charge exemption for firefighters. We talked about that before. Couldn't find it anywhere in the minutes. Is that something anyone would want to add to? Anyone want to entertain a motion? Not at this point. Not at this time.
Before we do, we probably need to find out what the cost is and how many it affects, try to do that.
Sure. So we have no action on item number 11 right now. Item number 12, discussion action regarding hiring a utility clerk. Dawn and I just wanted to let the council know that we have interviewed. Didn't get it on the agenda to hire someone. We're going to have that budget meeting first, which will be the 22nd. Is the council in agreement with that? And we'll let you know. We're going to re-interview a couple, and then we'll have something for you at next month's meeting. Will that work? We're trying to get that taken care of pretty quickly.
Was it advertised in the newspaper 2 weeks?
Yes. Yeah. We're trying to get it taken care of pretty quickly though, because Mary's really strapped right now. Okay. Item number 13, approve reject emergency purchase order 011007 to Collins Waterworks LLC in the amount of $1,020 for emergency water line repair work. Donnie can probably tell us more about
Yeah.
that
Keith?
himself.
Where's Keith at? Yeah, this is an excellent price, really.
Excellent. Yeah.
When you had that original bus out there, it was on that 12-inch line, and the second bus was actually on the 10-inch line, right?
It's where the 12 goes to the 10.
Okay, where the 12 goes to the 10. Okay, so he had to come in, because I noticed he billed us for a 12-inch ring.
He did have to use his 12-inch stuff. I didn't have any 12.
Okay, so he had to loosen that bell and move that back in order to repair the 10,
And we had
and
to
that's
go
where
get
that
the
12.
stuff in Fort Smith for the 10.
Okay, so I'm okay with that. Those boys worked hard. They were out there 15 hours trying to get that leak fixed and make sure the hospital
When
did.
I was out there, one of the main concerns is they could not find the shut-off for the towers out there at the hospital. And they were
Yeah.
digging around in the dirt, and I didn't understand why that wasn't in one of our water meter well things, so that could be easily found.
Well, there's just a lot of valves out there that feeds that hospital, and we were trying to make sure we didn't have anything shut off as far as we try to keep everybody in water the whole time that was going on, and I think we were able to, except for the one new warehouse that they have. I think they were out of water there, but there's just a lot of valves out there, and they get covered up, you know, in the mowing season and all that sort of thing. And
Is there a better way they can do that for us? Did you visit with them to see if there was something? Like I was thinking, it would just be so easy just to put one of our little round, you know.
well, there should
Water
have
meter
been covers
valves there.
on them, but sometimes they get covered up, and I'm sure that's what they were doing, trying to find those. And you know, and then you have calls during all that, you know, where one area of the hospital might not have water, and you have to go find another one and get that shut off and isolate it and all
The
that.
towers were full, I know. I was asking on that, so that was good, but I guess it was just looping back around before they found that cutoff.
Right.
And we thank you and
Thank you
the
very much for all your hard work that weekend.
department for working so hard.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Who seconded it? Gina?
Vote.
Donnie?
Yes.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes. Item number 14, discussion action regarding the accrual of employee comp time and compensation for overtime hours worked.
I put this on there because I wanted to just get the council's opinion before the budget meeting. We pay out a lot of employee comp time, don't we? And I would like to, consider maybe putting a cap on that. I don't know. No, not the comp time, the,
Overtime?
yeah. We have two right now. We have some that get paid to work straight time past 40 and others get comp time. And I just want to make.
Is that the employee's
Yes.
choice or state?
No, I don't think the employees get a choice on
Well,
it.
part of it could be, and Sean, you may have to interject here, is part of it may be under town of Talihina, and part of it may be Talihina Public Works.
Yeah, I mean.
If it's two separate entities, there's no overtime, is there? If they work 30 hours in Talihina and 20 hours at Talihina Public Works, it's two separate, it's a trust, and it's a totally different employer, is it not?
The short answer to your question is yes, but I would not be definitive in that unless I had an opportunity to look at everything.
Right,
and
the charter and everything.
Yeah, and well, the indenture and then compare their hours and what they're claiming. I need to see the records, but the short answer is yes.
Yeah, it's a gray area that we have to actually look at, because some of them be getting partially paid under town of Talihina and partially paid out of Public Works, which is two separate entities.
I do believe in that second position, they have to be paid at least minimum wage and then time and a half. I think we have an incident of that
Yes.
happening.
Mhm.
If they work
So
40 hours in that one though.
Yes.
Right, so when they go to their second job and second title, then they can get paid minimum wage, and then that is time and a half, so basically about $12 an hour.
Mary seems to have an opinion on that.
Well, no, it's just not what we're talking about. We're not talking about payment from two separate entities. What Ms. Gregson is bringing up today is payment within the same entity.
Okay.
You know, I make sure that we're legal in terms of Department of Labor and making sure that no one is paid hours over 40 that would compromise our legal status with the Department of Labor. But we're not even talking about cross entities. If I understand correctly, what you're speaking of is all either within Public Works, which is Maintenance Department, or all either within the PD, which is all within the town. We're not talking
Well,
about cross entities.
public works and maintenance are two different things.
Okay, well, you can call it what you want, but I'm saying it's all paid out of Public Works.
My question is, either we pay all employees overtime or we pay them all comp time. I don't think any employee should get paid for working over and other employees not. That's just my opinion.
I don't think there's anything that would prohibit you from creating uniformity within the department
Right.
to do that.
Okay.
The one issue with overtime is you can't prohibit people from working over.
Right.
What you can do is you can put if you're gonna work over, you need to get a supervisor's approval provision in your handbook, basically. But as far as making it uniform so that everybody's either getting comp time or everybody's getting overtime, that's fine. You just have to make a decision from the town's perspective, which one's more advantageous to you.
And have it the same for
And
all.
it should be the same for all
Yeah,
departments.
it should be.
It should
I don't know why you would do it differently,
Mhm.
unless it's something that the employees negotiated and something that the employees want. But I can't.
Rhonda,
imagine.
can you check out Public Works, and Gina, you check out.
What kind of things do y'all work overtime on?
Well, part of it's like the leak we had out at the hospital, and there was 2 to 3 guys that working out there 15 hours on the weekend.
But I mean, is this something that happens routinely? Because
No.
it should be defined. So
It shouldn't be happening routinely.
If it's going to be something, that happens on any great regularity, you got to have internal ways of handling it.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, on item 14, should there be a motion
No, we can just
No,
decide.
I can take no action on that,
Okay.
and if we wanna make a
Just get it
change
researched.
in the handbook or our employment,
Okay, I think the handbook says comp time.
well,
We just need to make sure.
then if that's where you wanna go with it, then.
I just think it
then
should
we
be
switch
one or
everybody
the
to
other
comp
for all and not some.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll have no action, you guys can check that out.
Okay.
Item number 15, approve reject enter into executive session consistent with Title 25, Oklahoma State Statutes 307B1, discussing employment, hiring, appointment, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of an individual salaried public officer, employee, city clerk, treasurer, Gina Jones.
Make a motion to approve.
Second motion and a second. Any more discussion?
I have a question about that. She was hired, she was elected, right, into a position? Can I ask a question? Let's get that clear so there's
Yeah,
no
let's
mumbling under the
let's go
breath.
ahead, let's go ahead and vote, okay? Right, then we'll ask the
Okay.
question. Go ahead and vote.
And then I'd still like to
Donnie?
ask my question.
Yes.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, what's your
Okay.
question?
She, our treasurer,
Hey, hang on. Make sure we follow procedure properly.
Okay,
You
oh,
guys.
now we got a procedure.
No. Well,
we need to go.
they're in executive session,
All right,
so they need to
Voting
go
into
back
it.
into executive session.
Back out.
And you can let her come in and ask her question in executive
Okay.
session
Okay,
if she wants it. If you want to come out and tell everybody what the answer is, that's fine with me, I don't care.
okay,
But y'all are in executive session.
okay.
yeah,
Let's
I do
go
have a
vote.
question about it, I would like to.
Executive session.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion.
Second.
And a second, any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie?
Yes.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes. Item number 17, action of any from executive session.
No action?
Or no action? Okay. Item number 18, new business. I have a question. Can someone kind of update us on the maintenance department vacancy? What, I know we advertised for it and took some applications, like where we're at in it, what we're doing.
Don and I conferred about that, and we decided to wait until after the first of the year, and then I realized it's after the first of the year now.
Probably wouldn't hurt to wait till after the budget meeting and see where we're at.
And then you're
So,
going to
Then
pursue
we can-
that.
this
we can
evening
look
we were
at that.
visiting about it, and we said, let's
Okay.
wait till after the budget meeting.
So we're
Makes
going to
more
pursue
sense.
that after the 22nd, so we're still.
What we were
Okay.
considering doing was looking at a part-time person for that.
Considering it, okay.
Uh,
Any more new business?
Yeah, I've got a few questions or comments and stuff. Cal and I have talked a time or two about the old dam, and I had inquired with the Water Resources Board about inspecting the old dam before Donna came to us with NRCS inspecting the new dam. And I'd forgotten about my conversation with the Water Resources Board, and I got a call this week, and they're planning on coming in February the 10th and inspecting the old dam. So, you hearing that, Cal?
That's going to be,
Water Resources?
Water Resources Board is going to be coming in February the 10th to inspect the old dam.
and basically they're just going to give us their opinion.
Yes, and then if there's a problem, then we work together to rectify it.
I'm surprised they're doing inspection, because we do dam inspections for a lot of clients around Oklahoma. And I'm surprised that they are actually going to do the inspection.
And said I didn't, at the time before you brought up your deal, I didn't know who had jurisdiction, so I just went to
Are they
them.
charging us for that
No,
inspection?
no.
Do you charge for that inspection?
Well, we do our annual inspections on each one of
Yeah.
our sheds, so.
Yeah. But that's going to be happening February the 10th, so I just wanted to
And you'll
update.
be
Yeah, I'll be
out
available,
there?
yeah.
Okay.
And if anybody else wants to be available, they're
Anxious to
welcome.
hear what that-
I won't, it's too
Yeah.
close to my big holiday, but did you let Keith, does Keith know that date?
Keith?
Keith needs to be there.
Just to let you know, the Water Resources Board will be here February the 10th, and we're going to do an inspection on the old dam.
Okay.
Lake Talihina Lake Dam. And I'll inform you when it's at, if you want to come out there, and we can all do it together.
Okay.
Another thing, and it pertains to Keith too, to some extent, all this does, I guess. On that water leak that they had out at the hospital, they didn't even have tools. So I went over to Lowe's and got a couple of item numbers for a power impact wrench and a cordless drill and a cordless cutoff saw, which equals $400. And I wanted to make sure that everybody's in agreement to go ahead and put that in the next, go ahead and purchase that for maintenance and public works, so they can have some tools to work with. And they'll come out of the capital improvement budget for maintenance. Another question I've got is the sewer line between 5th and 6th Street that ties into Savannah Apartments. And I've been getting a lot of calls where it's backing up, and I think, Keith, y'all have had to go out many times, haven't you, to work on it?
That will probably be the next place that we work towards. I mean, we discussed it this time, you know, on the project we're gonna do, you know. We'll just have to do it, you know, short sections at a time, and that'll probably be one of the next ones that comes up.
Yeah, so if we have any contingency left over anywhere, we need to look at doing something on that line, because when we added Savannah Apartments, we had probably, what, basically 10 houses, and didn't upgrade the sewer line, and it's causing problems down the line, so we need to address that.
There'll probably be some contingency money, hopefully there'll be some contingency money there.
The other thing that I was going to comment on, when we were out there at the leak, our backhoe operator was sick, which is understandable, and we really didn't have anybody else that was proficient in running the backhoe. And I asked Keith to start allowing other employees to get some backhoe time, so when we get in a situation where somebody's sick, we're not sitting there stranded. And whether it's digging graves at the cemetery or whatever, we need to have other employees that are proficient in running that backhoe, so we're not stranded. And that's
We
one.
talked about that before, and they were supposed to be doing that.
And,
Roy was learning the backhoe.
I think when we purchased that large piece of equipment, we were really wanted someone to really take care of it and be gentle with it. And so we kind of limited the people we had operating it, because if you have everybody in the world riding that,
We had problems with it.
yeah, and so that's why that was limited to begin with. Now, we may have someone in the maintenance department now that may be a good candidate for that, but I think you need to think about that before you send me out there and run that backhoe, it might not work on them.
Keith, do you have one other guy in your department that you'd feel comfortable training on that?
Well, we're always looking for good people.
You've got good people, don't you?
Yeah.
There you go.
My husband's CEOs, and he knows how to run all. Well, we're gonna be addressing it. Okay, but I just wanted to bring it up, that because we were so excited to be able to spend so much money to get that backhoe, we were being real gentle with it.
Right. One other question or comment I've got to make under Public Works. Dale, I probably want to help me out a little bit. We had the final inspection at the water plant, and met with the contractor, Dale, and me, and Rural Development was there also. And part of the letters that we had in our boxes was requesting an extension on the closure of the REAP grant. And it should have been closed quite a while ago, actually.
Well, the REAP grants are good for 1 year. They'll send that out every 30 or 90 days. And that's the sewer line.
That's the sewer line one right there?
We're working on, yeah.
Okay.
That don't have anything to do with.
So we got the extension on the sewer line one?
Yes, yes.
And the water line one, they want us to get that closed ASAP. Was I correct in her comments on closing out that grant, not the treatment plant?
Oh, yeah, the treatment plant, that's
Yes.
one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, you know, we talked before about what to, either request that the money be returned back, be reimbursed the money that was spent, or put it toward a project. I got a call from Gayleen today, and she wanted to know, she got an old grant that they need to close out, okay? My recommendation is to let's go ahead and ask for the reimbursement, and the council can do with that money whatever you want, and go back into PWA.
That was
And
my
that will satisfy Rural Development to closing out the old grant. We still got more contingency money in there, but that would close out the old grant.
And that might give us some money to take care of IRS.
Do we need to make a motion under new business for that?
No, we can do it in the 22nd meeting, I imagine.
If y'all want to do it, I'll go ahead and draft the letter up and everything, because
And then we gotta.
you just can't ask for money and they give it back. You got to
Right.
tell them exactly what you're asking to be reimbursed for. You have to show what you spent the money on.
And to let y'all know what we're talking about, on this water treatment plant, we have actually paid in a certain amount of money through this process that we didn't really have to pay in. And so we can ask for that money back, and it totals $64,000.
I think we talked about that the last meeting.
And so, but some people weren't here last meeting.
Oh.
And so it allows us to ask for the $64,000 back that we can put in our budget and utilize it elsewhere.
So we're just getting our money back that we already spent.
That we've already paid into it, yeah. and utilize it somewhere else. And so that's what's going on there.
And we're gonna be talking about that. in the
And we'll be
budget.
talking about what we're gonna do with it, hopefully on the 22nd. And
And he
but-
will have the letter for
yeah,
us
they'll
by
have
then.
that letter for us for the 22nd. And we talked about, they put the doors in at the plant, they got the doors in. The main hang-up on the plant on finalizing was the fact that sludge ponds weren't cleaned properly, and we've got people in line to take care of it, right?
We have informed them that it's unacceptable.
And,
I haven't got anything farther than that yet.
okay,
I'm waiting
and
for the contractor to give me a call
we were-
and say, hey, what do you want
What
me
about
to
the
do?
mixer motor? It says it's making noise and needs
You know,
repair, it's brand
I
new.
don't know about that. I'll have to find out.
we did talk about that, and that was put on the
That-
to-do list, the mixer motor,
that
yes.
was- We have a punch list of all the
Yes,
items.
and that should be under warranty,
Yeah.
Yes.
and so that'll be taken care of under warranty.
Donnie, you mentioned the IRS. We've actually paid the IRS about $60,000 in the last 2 months to
Good.
where we are. So we paid about $60,000.
How come that's not voted on to pay that?
We already voted on paying the IRS. We voted that months ago. We had it on the agenda to pay that as we had money. We're not going to vote on it every month.
Where were those funds captured from? Where were you able to find
We
them?
have just been getting more money in through Public Works mainly because of the way we've been doing our new billing system.
So
People
Mary
are
starts
just-
you out your billing system for you?
It's just became more efficient.
Much more efficient.
And the billings are getting out in time and a little bit more communication. So we've been able to collect some
So
money.
what does that make
and
our
to collect
balance
some-
due now? What are we? what are
We still owe about 90,000. So we still owe lots of money, but I'm impressed that we paid 60,000 in 2 months. If we can keep that up, we'll have that paid for. So that's a positive note. Anything else, Tony?
We got anything else on that, on the plant?
No, we're just waiting on them. You know, the weather's kind of slowed them down a little bit, so.
Yeah, there were several punch list items that need to be taken care of, but we got a list of those and stuff.
Can we
Can I
have
ask
a
a
question?
question?
Yes.
Do we have any idea what kind of effect and sales tax receipts the alcohol clothing is going to affect the city?
No,
Can
we do not.
Can we get some kind of an estimate?
So far, they wouldn't.
We've been working on that, but the information we have been given is not information that can be given out to the public. It will, you know, it will be a sizable amount, but we're still going to be fine. We totally hate it. A lot of that money will be rerouted to other businesses, not all of it, but we won't lose the total amount. But we'll be fine as long as we keep operating the way we are.
And secondly, is there any progress in discussions about the proposed annexation?
Annexation.
And-
I think we'll have to talk about that under the town, but
Okay.
but we
Well, it
can't do
affects
that.
sewer and water also.
Yes, but yes, we have been talking about that, and we need to get back on. Yes, good question.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, well, you're on the water plant. Are we gonna be notified when we can drink our water again?
You can drink your water anytime. You've never gotten a letter saying you couldn't drink your water.
Because one second, whatever it was.
DEQ?
Yeah, I said we shouldn't be drinking our water.
No. If you get those letters out and read it, it'll just explain to you why we're having to send those letters out, but you've never been told you can't drink that water. You have to kind of use your own discretion on whether you think you could drink the water or not,
Right.
according to your health and other things going on.
Well, just
You might talk to your
yeah,
doctor
I
about
meant just to
that.
alleviate.
Well, it doesn't say you can't drink, it just says prolonged use of it will kill you.
Right.
Especially if you.
Could kill you. Could kill you.
How much, sir, how much water do you drink a day? Do you know approximately? A bottle full? I think you'll live a
No,
long
these
time
are
probably.
what I drink. No, I meant just
Well-
to ease the public.
It does reference in there that people with
Really
frail
more than
health that
drink
have
water.
other pre-existing
Yeah.
health conditions.
Ozarka behind you over there.
That is the very form letter that they send out in every committee and every situation.
And that's why I
so-
said you need to talk to your doctor about that, if that's something, and you need to do that all the time, not just when you get.
Well, and to clarify a little bit too, that's what's going on out here at the water treatment plant right now with the upgrades, is to get it to the point where you won't get those letters anymore.
And that
You
letter
know.
you got was actually a letter that should have been sent to you like 9 months ago.
Well, I kind of
We only
figured
had to
that.
send it because DEQ says if you don't, I'm fining you, and we don't want any fines. So that was a letter you should have got 9 months ago. We don't have any new ones out.
So if we were gonna be dead, we'd already be dead.
Yes, sir. When you get those letters, it's like
That's kind
closing
of
the
hard on
gate after the
taxes
cows are
though,
out.
isn't it? If we're dead,
Pardon
we
me?
can't- It's kind of hard on taxes. If we're dead, we can't pay taxes.
They'll get them.
That's one thing you don't have to do when you do.
Our plant supervisors also told us that our water is just as clear now as distilled water is, so it's much greater improvement now.
Anytime you do
Very
have a
good water.
question, though, about your water or the plant or something, feel free to call.
No,
Feel free to call the water plant, visit with them.
My real concern was public, the way the public responds.
Yes.
When those letter comes out, I talked to a lot of people and that, you know, oh, we're
Scary.
all gonna die, we can't take baths,
It's-
you can't do this and that, and that's why I was concerned. mainly.
Actually, what it is it has more turbidity in the water, which is particles in the water. When you have more particles, it makes it harder to treat. So that's just what they're giving you a heads up about, is it's
Right.
harder to treat. It has been treated, but
Well, it's just people panic.
sure.
That's all.
Sure.
I wasn't worried about myself, I was just.
That's a good question.
Other people.
Good
I
question.
don't want to put something like that out.
I think we've been educating the public a while, but it really doesn't matter every time a new letter comes out. And that's okay, too. That's what we're here for, so. Anything else?
You're getting much better with it.
We are getting much better. Hopefully, we're saying that those type of letters, that's not going to be acceptable to send those out any longer, so we're working hard on that. Item number 19.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion
Second?
and a second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
and Jackie.
Yes.
Yeah, we can get rolling on that. I'll holler at you,
Y'all need me for anything for the city? I gotta go to another meeting.
Sorry, I didn't know you were staying for that, or we'd have done it before the executive session.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Let me know you're- I won't take you out to eat, I promise. I would like to say, since Philip's waving at me, we didn't go over any of the reports, but I don't see your report. I don't see your report. Is it here?
I'm getting no Starbucks, yeah, I'm not.
They're sitting right here where I told you I put them.
Oh, will you hand those out to us, please? Thanks, Philip.
Did you make it, Joe?
These are your.
Okay.
I thought I was back there.
I picked mine up early, so this.
oh, I've got that.
Yeah, he's always doing those last layers.
How much- yeah, how much do we
Trustees of the
treat?
town of Talihina.
Do I'm looking at treating.
Item number 2, approve or reject the consent agenda consisting of the minutes.
Oh, I
of the
forgot to
meeting
put down, there was no
held October 13th,
Act T violation.
2014.
That's how much we treated for the month.
Second.
Hold on.
I'm holding one. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Philip.
Okay.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gina, and Jackie.
Yes. Item number 3, approve or reject the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the meeting held November 10th, 2014.
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion.
That was one we didn't have.
That's the one we don't
I
have.
thought the 24th was one.
We have the
had.
24th.
Okay, we'll have no
Mine
action
stated
on
the
item
8th,
three.
that's one.
No,
You
you're,
voted
you're,
Item number 4, approve
Yeah.
or reject the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the special meeting held November 24th, 2014.
motion to approve.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
Jackie.
Yes. Item number 5, approve or reject the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the meeting held December 8th, 2014.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
and Jackie.
Item number 6, approve or reject general fund purchase orders.
A motion to approve.
I
Have a
second it.
motion and a second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
and Jackie.
Yes. Public forum for the town, anyone here for the public forum for the
Have a
town? Yes,
question and a
CJ?
comment.
Yes.
Did y'all pay the budget, through the budget, did y'all pay the bonuses to these employees, Christmas bonus?
Through the budget, yes.
Well, I just want to make a comment that I think it was inappropriate, and I think it was almost at an illegal point.
Those budgets were salary. They were approved as salary in the
No, they
budget.
weren't.
Yes, they were.
They were approved as a line item.
No, they were approved, they were included in the salary.
Okay.
Yes, they were included in the salary.
I think
So
it's
is
a
that a-
misappropriation
is
of
that a
public funds
ongoing?
for them.
It will be an annual thing. I mean,
It's
it will
gonna
have
be
to
an
be
annual thing that
included.
everybody gets paid at Christmas.
It will have to be included in the salary. No, it's not a guaranteed thing. It has to be included in the salary, in the budget.
Maybe full-time?
Pardon me?
Full-time? Maybe full-time to get one?
No.
No.
Anything else?
What did you ask?
Do you have to be full-time in order to get a bonus?
Oh.
My answer was no. Does anyone else have any comments for CJ on what he said?
Well, I agree. I think it is inappropriate at a time when we're trying to pay off debt to be giving people bonuses. You know, sometimes we just have to tighten up and like take our licks. It's happening all over the world and in the United States and in the U.S. government and all the city governments all over the place are having to cut back and make adjustments for a really poor economy. And so I think in that sense, to include it as a part of the budget or however you justified it, it just really just does not look good for y'all. And I think that there's a lot of people who feel like that. You may not hear from them directly, but I know I hear from them.
I think what this council is thinking though, and I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but what this council is thinking and saying, we're saying you had 2 days out there that you had employees that worked really, really hard. And just because this council or whoever has not managed as well as we should have, why should you punish your employees for that? And I think if you were an employee, but I think if you were an employee of the town of Talihina, I think you might feel a little different about.
Well, let me clarify one thing. Number one, they're not penalized if they don't get their bonus because they still get paid for being out there, number one. Number two, when we discussed this in the budget, it was pretty much talked about that we'd be voting on it at a later date, and we didn't do it.
No, what was talked about was that if we did not have the money, we would not be doing it.
And you don't.
Yes, we did.
No, as long as you're still in
did.
debt.
But let me put it this way.
You're taking money that people are forced to
Well,
pay
let me
you
put
and
it-
giving it away.
Let me put it to you this way.
right.
There's an election coming up in April. I'd like to see every one of you apply for that position. Because if you think you can make better decisions, you need to get out, you need to register to vote, you need to vote. That's what will make a difference.
We had 38 people vote in the last election.
Not only are we gonna do that, there will be new people running for y'all's offices.
That doesn't matter.
That
That's why
does
there's,
matter.
that's
It
why
does
there's
matter
a public
because they'll
election.
get a chance to vote against the
But
stuff
that,
that they
and
vote
that's
for.
okay. But everyone in here, they were placed here by the public.
Y'all
They
should be
got the
looking out for the
majority of the
public.
vote.
I
Pardon me?
mean, y'all should be looking out more for the public who's putting this money in this
But
system,
sir.
not to the individuals.
But
And
the
sir,
employees pay it.
but we're
As a
not-
business, your number one priority, your best asset that you have are your employees. Do you
That's
not
why you shouldn't
agree?
damage them with your decision.
Right,
You make
which
it
are-
get you in a hole in your oversight and your inability
But-
to conduct proper
You're
business.
paying.
The argument was,
Profit. We don't have a profit here in this city.
the argument was that we should be paying that money out to the IRS. My comment was, even though we didn't vote
That's not
for
what I
it,
said.
if I had to sit here and choose between the IRS or paying for our employees to have a good Christmas, it means so much more to our community to give those bonuses. We will get the IRS paid for. It was something where you had to choose. Do you take care of your own
Well,
people,
it's my money you were giving them.
or you take
My
care of? We're gonna give it one way or the other.
Like you take care of your
We can either give it to the
Yeah,
government
we owed
now.
the other money, we didn't owe the bonus, is what I'm trying to get at.
No,
We
but
didn't owe the bonus.
Your most
And
expensive
you're wrong,
thing in the
because I told you
business is
about
to
that when you
retrain
said y'all were gonna
employees.
vote for that in the budget.
No.
You told me right to my face, that
if
if
we
we didn't
did
have the
not
money,
have the money,
we don't have
we
the
would
money.
not, but we did.
She just said, pay the IRS or pay them.
But we did
That didn't mean we
have the
didn't have
money
to.
to pay that.
That's okay, I'm not gonna.
But we've paid off all this money in the IRS. We've got more to do, but we'll get it. But the most expensive thing you can do in a business is retrain your employees. So let's take care of our employees.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that and not keep making these decisions that put us in bind to begin with.
No, it doesn't.
But we're gonna have a
Everyone
budget.
can have a difference of opinion, okay? Let's agree to disagree and move on, okay?
Well, we're gonna-
That's the best thing to do. Let's do better in the future.
That's right.
But we'll have a budget meeting on the 22nd,
Okay.
and everybody's welcome to come there and look at the numbers, because we'll have all those numbers at the 22nd meeting, and you can see where we're at.
And not everyone's going to agree. This
That's right.
5-board member is not gonna always agree. You just have to go by the majority.
That's right, okay.
And everyone's opinion is important, but let's
And,
agree to
yeah,
disagree.
I just feel like, you know, there's a lot of effort in this, now I'll move on after this, because I do have some other issues that I'd like to address, and I'll try to make it very brief. You take care of your people, yes, your employees and your board members, that's fine. But you all are sitting up here to represent all of us. And you seem to think that that just went out the window when you got this job, and you don't have to do that anymore. And you keep acting that way. You can smile if you want to, but that's exactly how it is. And we appreciate that there have been some great strides here. We appreciate the work that Mary's done to try to get things on board. The finding 60,000 in 2 months is no small shakes. Thank you for that. But we still do owe money. And, you know, it's just like, well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move on from that. Now, speaking of training.
May I ask a question before we
Sure,
move on?
sure.
How many people in this room voted in the last election?
Well, it wouldn't be.
Well, there
You
was
voted in the last
38
city
people
election.
voting.
The last city election, how many people voted?
I did.
How many even know when the
2
elections
people
are?
in this room voted in the
How
last
many people
three.
know?
In the
I
paper.
don't live here anymore. I live out in the county.
Right, and so that's why I said in the city. But vote, get out and vote. The important thing is get out and vote.
Well,
We don't
and
do
Jackie, I love you, but it doesn't matter who voted and who didn't vote.
I'm just
It's the
trying to
responsibility of
say,
this board to look after the welfare of everybody, those that voted and those that didn't vote.
It is, but, you know, we're making the decisions that we think are best. If there's someone that can make better decisions.
look at the whole
That doesn't
town.
mean just because they're
That's the
elected,
whole
they're gonna
town.
make better decisions. But let's agree to disagree and move on. Let's do. And you had another
I do have
question.
some kind of related now. On the requirements of the board members, have you all had your municipal board training? Anybody hired after 2005, you're supposed to go through a course?
Yes.
You've all
Yes.
had that? Okay.
Ones after
Now,
2005,
do we have,
yes.
okay, great, fantastic. Do we have a human resources personnel policy, human resources policy, or ordinance of any kind?
Do we follow?
Do we have any?
We follow the Oklahoma Municipal League, yes.
Okay, is
As
there
far
a?
as another ordinance,
are-
no, that I'm aware of.
Okay, so is there a background investigation and drug testing required of everybody on the city and on your board?
There's a background check done, yes. As far as drugs, no.
Okay, would you consider putting that in? I think if you're gonna hold that to,
We
you know.
have considered that before, yes, and we would. consider
Okay, I'd like to
that.
recommend that we put it up for a vote and include it in our municipal board requirements as well as our city hire. Because I think, you know, anywhere else, they would do it.
Sure.
It's in everybody else's policy, and I think we need to include it here. And, you know, it gives you another way to establish credibility with your constituency, and I think it ought to be included.
So the council needs to remember that.
I'm not concerned about that at all, but how do you know everybody else does? Because that seems like that would be something that the LaFleur County Election Board would do if everybody else is requiring that, Lahoma.
I think she's talking about employees too.
Yeah.
Well, no, she's talking about board members.
Council and.
Council, not that I'm
Yes,
concerned about
right.
that, but I'm just like, wouldn't that be something that the
It
LaFleur
would
County
be.
Election
Why
Board
can you
would
not do
require?
it here? I'm asking you to be responsible for it here.
You made the comment everybody else is.
Well, I think anytime I go in, I've applied for several jobs and gotten hired around here, and every time I did, I had to, you know, do a background investigation
I
and
think
a drug test.
she's right. Any guidelines that would go for the council would have to come through the LaFleur County.
Okay, the election board doesn't even know who's on your council. They still have Mike Bailey and Carolyn Webb listed as your council members.
I'm not sure what you do about that little LaFleur County election board. We're not.
Well, okay, I wouldn't rely on the election board to be all on the up and up about all the requirements for everybody, because they really.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's a state requirement or not. The city can do
The
it
city
retrospective of
It's
it.
on the court, and I'm
Yeah.
asking you to be responsible for it as the city, whether or not the election board does it or
He
not.
says not board members.
I don't think we can drug test board members.
You can't make it mandatory, but you can
It's an
ask.
elected position. It's an elected, you can't, there are there are requirements that they have to meet, minimum requirements that they have to meet in order to run for office.
Okay.
A variety of things. One of them is they can't be convicted of felonies. So, you know.
So there is a requirement.
Well, that's a check that's done before they're allowed to file for office. And that goes for anyone seeking election at all. But as far as drug testing, I'm not aware of any elected official that's ever had to go through any type of drug testing. We can come up with a drug testing policy for the town if we want to, but understand that it's a random drug testing policy, and we're required to follow specific, very stringent things. And we're talking a few minutes ago about money. It's expensive. It's real expensive.
Well, I think we ought to do it anyway. Because y'all, if you can pay a Christmas bonus, you can do a random drug test. That's the way I feel about that.
If there's a complaint about a board member from someone in the public concerning drugs, who should they go to about that?
District Attorney's Office.
Okay, so if there's someone that is questionable, then go to the DA with that and see what they'll do
Or
about that.
local law enforcement. Actually, we probably don't want to go to town, but you can go to Ford County, or you can go to OSBI, or you can go to, I mean,
And if the DA thinks that it's
yeah, because
a
the
big enough
DA's office is
complaint,
going to be the one that's going to direct you. You probably go talk to them.
if they think it's a legitimate complaint, then they'll address it. Okay.
I appreciate that interpretation.
What
Thank
happened to
you.
Gina? What's going on?
She's sick.
Okay,
She's
she's
just
her
out
second
sick.
month. All right, I was making sure that didn't happen. 'Cause I
Yeah,
seen
she
you
was
already.
sick last month, and now she's sick with something else.
Okay,
so.
all right.
No, she's good. Hopefully she'll be back.
She's my neighbor. I ain't seen her.
She's got the flu now.
Oh,
Are you submitting any resolutions this month for elected positions or board member positions?
Any more resolutions?
Are you submitting a resolution this month for, is
that
nobody's
would be-
coming up for a vote this, okay, when's our
Yes,
next?
it will be in April, and those things will be done in February.
Okay, April and February, okay, because
The
they told
elections
me it
in-
was January, and so they gave me another
No,
piece of misinformation. Okay,
it's
February.
February.
And so who will we be voting, or whose positions will we be voting for?
All the positions are at large. You're not running against people. It's not like that. Whoever files for a position, it'll just be whoever gets the most votes.
We're talking municipal board members?
Yes, municipal board members. You don't run against each other, actually. We don't
Oh, I know,
have, we don't have wars. There is two positions, there is one position coming up, I know, in April. One of them is mine. Donnie seems to think one of them is his. Mine's a 4-year term. He thinks his is up and it's a 2-year term.
I think mine's
Can't
right.
answer for that, but
I did go to the election board to ask that question, they didn't know, because they said that there's a resolution that's usually submitted to let people know,
Yes.
like, who might be, who
Right,
might be
and that
filing
would be-
again for.
But they should have the information, because if
Well,
we
that's
didn't
kind
know
of
what it
what
was,
I'm
we
saying.
would be looking to them. for
I kind of thought that
information.
too.
There would be
He
at
took
least one
somebody's
position, if not two.
He
So
just,
they-
and it was just to fill out the.
And you have to file for that
Right.
position in February, I'm not sure what date that is.
Okay.
He was
Anything else?
elected.
But it was to fill out a
He-
existing term.
Mike
Can't get out of here
wasn't.
without talking about animals.
Thanks,
Mike
Mike.
Bailey's term.
Because we didn't fill it within the 60 days.
Right, yeah.
Lahoma has one more thing.
Just one more thing, please. Our Oklahoma state statute on animal cruelty includes everything except humans. So in case you were wondering, like, what's involved in that, chickens do apply. And thank you for taking care of the chickens, because they're all covered up now. But we still have people whose little dogs are being attacked by animals at large, and I wanted to ask, what happened to our animal control / dispatch person?
He resigned his position. So we will be advertising once again for.
Is he still here now?
No,
Still
he
working that
had, no, he is not.
Is he here in December? Did he get the Christmas bonus?
He's here in December.
Yeah.
Did he get that?
Yep.
Ooh, we better give it back.
Anyway, that's where we are on the animal control. Yeah, he was doing a good job.
I don't
Is he
know,
gone
say your
permanent?
chickens.
Yeah, well, he.
We really need a animal control officer, someone that's not affiliated with.
Yeah.
He had.
you
No
know,
offense to him, I know you're available, I'm fixing to kill whatever's going on.
We really need that, if you know anybody, we have advertised before, you know, we just
It goes
haven't
in
had
my
good
yard.
luck with
I
that,
mean, if it
so.
goes in my yard.
Lahoma, you know someone, we'd love to have them come.
Well, you know,
Have a little child.
You know,
I do it with my, I
change.
do it myself, but I have all these
Right.
Well, that's what you need, somebody who's doing that. You need someone that cares about it, that wants to come in and make those changes.
And, I have friends who are, they would love to do it too, but there's almost one thing or another that kind of makes it difficult, but yeah.
I'm sure that,
I'll be on the
I'm
lookout
sure the
for
current, whoever the current county is like. Anything else in public forum? Oh. Okay, attorney's report, Sean, you got anything for the town?
Not tonight.
Number 9 is Mary's financial, she's gonna get that to us later. Item number 10, approve reject mobile home permit application for Anna Alexander.
All right, when we brought this up last time, you guys said you wanted to wait till Anna cleaned it up. There's you some pictures right now where Anna's cleaned up the lot and it's got it nice and ready to go. And my understanding at that meeting, that was the only stipulation we had to not allow her to go ahead and set her mobile home. So tonight, take a look at that and I'll make a motion here in a minute. And Anna's here tonight if y'all want to ask her any questions.
What year was that mobile home? I don't remember.
Yep.
2001.
Donnie, have you personally looked at this and you're good with it?
I didn't drive it, but I've been to it and I trust Anna. She's got the
So
pictures right
you're
there.
recommending it.
I'm-
So can we have that in the form of a
I'll make a
motion?
motion that we allow Anna to go ahead and place the trailer that she had submitted on her permit to be placed on that property.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
No.
Gina,
Yes.
and Jackie.
Yes. Thank you for your patience. Looks like you're ready to go.
All right.
Item number 11, we'll have no action on item number 11. Mrs. Gregson's asked us to have no action on that tonight. We're gonna have some more, yeah.
we had that on
Item number
the line
12,
item.
discussion action on regarding lot cleanup. Gina's been out
That's
sick.
why it was,
We
that's
have
how it was.
nothing to report on lot cleanup.
It was in there.
Item 13. We don't really need to do item 13. So we'll have no action on that, no action on 14. 15, we're to item number 16, new business. Any new business for the town? There's a budget meeting Thursday, 5:30 on the 22nd. We'll be here. Anybody that'd like to attend? Anything else?
I guess y'all are making every effort to make sure that all gets in the paper, that I've seen the city meetings referenced in the paper.
He's right here. Cal is here, and he does do a good job of getting that in there.
Yes, he
The
does.
only suggestion I would make is that I received notice of meetings.
Too late.
If there's special meetings called and I don't know about it, I can't come
The
by
girl-
and check the door every day.
Gina's
I know,
been
that's my
sick,
complaint.
and so
I mean, it's just a suggestion, there's
We've-
no requirement. I
we
checked
fell
with the
short
open
in that
meeting law.
department, and hopefully she's gonna get back and be better, and we just failed to get that done.
But yeah, if I don't know about a meeting, I can't be here.
Right.
That's true, that's true. On the 22nd, 5:30 here, next Thursday. Any new business, any more new business? Item number 17,
Make a motion.
we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
and Jackie.
Yes. I have some stuff here that I'm not interested in, if anyone else is. Just pray. I
feel for you.
Appreciate you, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me know if we can do anything, man. Once we get that completely done out there, we want to pull all the managers from the water districts and the engineer.
I went by look once, before y'all left.
And get everybody to understand what has happened out there and how we can work together to keep making that better. And whatever your concerns are.
I think it'll work.
I think it'll work.